Hi guys, I'm Daddy Freeze, convener of the Free the Sheeple movement and leader of the Free Nation in Christ. I greet you and I bring glad tidings. How are you guys doing? Hmm? How are you guys doing? All right. Today I want to talk about genotype, marriage, and sickle cell anemia. I got some very bad news um, the other day. Really bad news, that is, the other day, about a family member who, we've all heard the narrative, or should I say, the numerous stories around sickle cell and people who marry the wrong genotype, right? But you see, there's a part that many of us are not familiar with. And this is the emotional trauma on people who've been dating 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and then all of a sudden have to break up because of genotype incompatibility. Someone in my family who had been dating this person for many years, only to find out that their genotype was incompatible. And then they had to break up. And she died from the heartbreak. So let's talk about this. We all know how bad it is when two wrong genotype people come together. We know it's sometimes it's extremely devastating. But the problem is, do we know the emotional trauma on these people? So if you've had a genotype incompatibility story, would you like to share it with us? Would you like to give us some insight into how your situation played out? Maybe you guys wanted to get married, but then you couldn't get married because um, somebody here says they were a victim. Let me bring them up live. I meant to talk about this about 3 weeks ago when it happened, but I've not just been able to bring myself to talking about this because it's really sad. And you see, in Nigeria, we expect you to be able to pick yourself up and move on. Growing up, I, I, I remember my first heartbreak. What people around me expected me to do was get up and face it. Are you the first person who will be heartbroken? And I found that kind of cruel. Our feelings and emotions are not properly cared for in this part of the world. That is why they will say, the pastor will say, you know what, break up now. It's better to break up now than to break up 5 years from now. A broken relationship is better than a broken marriage. Bro, some people might not survive the breakup of the relationship, let alone ever live to get married. These are issues we need to talk about. If you want to join me in today's live, please do send a request. Someone said, first heartbreak, no be moi moi. Oh, it's not moi moi. Please send me a request if you want to join in today's live. And if you want to contribute to the topic. Someone says Nigerians tend to be cruel. Even the ones living in the US still have to learn empathy, especially the boomers. Hmm. Absolutely. All right. Some people have sent me requests. I'm just trying to bring. Oh, wow. That one couldn't go. Princess, there's something wrong with your live, with your. Um, Tracy says she wants to contribute. Please, if you want to contribute, send me a DM. I said send me a DM. Send me a live a request. Yes, bro. How are you doing?
Good evening, from here, Dr. Chris. Thank you so much.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, sir. How are you doing too?
Very well, thank you. Go ahead.
Well, I've not really had an encounter with anyone who has sickle cell, but I had a very good friend, a close friend in the university that had sickle cell disease, and it was a disaster. Disaster because his roommate, who was also my very good friend, there were three of us who were friends. He was the roommate. He had to learn how to inject his roommate. It was between life and death. He had to learn how to care for him. He had to learn the warning signs.
Hmm.
He had to learn uh, the how to use his medication for him. Was practically his nurse and carer throughout the period of being in the university. Miraculously, even over 20 years after, the young man I'm talking about is still alive. He's
Hmm.
married, he's got kids. I'm very, very grateful to God for keeping him alive. And I pray that he keeps him alive for a longer time to come. I think that the Nigerian system, does not have enough facilities to cater for sickle cell patients. Because in this part of the world, I live in America, by the way, I have met people who have sickle cell disease. Until they tell you, you would never know. The facilities are there to manage this crisis, to keep them alive, to maintain their situation, and to keep them healthy as can be, for anybody else who is not in that situation.
Hmm.
So for me, it's not easy for anybody to fall in love and then fall out of love or end it abruptly just because the other person has sickle cell. I think the point of caring and supporting them adequately is very, very paramount. And I think we are really lacking in that in Nigeria.
Hmm.
I have not heard of anybody who has been advised to end a relationship in this part of the world because the partner is sickle cell. Even those who have HIV, they're still married. I mean, a very global and relatable example is Magic Johnson, and so many people that I know who have very, serious cases of health situations. So I think the government can do better in the area of providing, enough support, medical support for those who have found themselves in this situation. So like somebody said in the comment section, like you also said, we are very cruel in Nigeria because we just want to just tell people stand up and go. It's not that easy.
Oh yeah.
It's not that easy at all to just tell somebody. So apart from lovers, these people come from a family. They have fathers, they have mothers, they have brothers, sisters, they have friends. They have people who care about them. What happens to them? Are they going to if they break up with their partners? What do they break up with their families too? And I hear that most churches will say, "Oh, don't date them, don't have a relationship, break up now, whatever." Even the church, where we expect some level of care and passion, we don't get it. We don't get it. If everybody is dumping these people, what happens to them? Even if depression is enough to kill them,
Oh yeah.
because the care is number one. Care is number one method of healing. You have to care first, genuinely care. And these people are even victimizing their own families. They are victimizing their own families. Even parents treat their sickle cell children as a burden and keep them separate from other children. They treat them differently from other children in some cases. So I feel like orientation is vital. We need to change our orientation. We need to start understanding that certain people go through certain things not by their own fault. There are institutions that they cannot even help themselves. So we need to help more people. We have to be more compassionate. We have to be more concerned about these people and treat them like ourselves and show them so much love that they don't even remember that they have sickle cell. You know, I have a younger sister who is a nurse. She works in the youth. She tells me a lot about this situation, how people are dumped, kids are dumped, children are dumped in the hospitals just because they have sickle cell. And it still goes back to the same system, the medical system is not adequate. All these things are very, very affordable. They are very, the government can easily get it together. But because there's misdirection, 5% going into medicine and 40% going into frivolities. Medical provision is really underplayed in Nigeria. In fact, it's not even mentioned as paramount. And this is what life is. This is what living is. So just as it affects sickle cell patients, it affects everybody or anybody else who is in any medical situation, and they can't even help themselves. So, in my opinion, care and compassion is the first step in making this happen. But sadly, it is rare to find care, genuine care and compassion among our people. You know, it's really, really sad. It's really, really sad.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was a lovely contribution. I like your glasses.
Thank you, Daddy Freeze, when I come to Nigeria, I'm going to find you. I'll do something like this. I promised you, I've said in live, I'll order it today or tomorrow. I can get someone, I can mail it down. If you like it, sunglasses, I'll get it this week.
Where'd you get it from? LV?
I got it online. Randomly, if I want glasses, I'll just go online. And if I see the one I like, I don't even care where it's from. I'll just order it. I ordered this one. It's been about 2 or 3 years. Strong, very strong indeed. Yeah, if you like it, I can get you.
Thank you very much. You're too kind. I appreciate it. It just looked good on you, and I was like, I'm gonna give you a compliment.
You tell me how I can send it to you.
Okay, just send me a DM. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prince. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. And your contribution was the perfect contribution to start such a day like this. Thank you so much, my brother, and God bless you.
Thank you so much. God bless you too, sir.
Wow, what an awesome guy. If you want to contribute, please send me a DM. I'm not feeling too strong today. So please send me a DM. Sheifumi, I want to try to see if I can bring you on. We're talking about genotype incompatibility and how it affects the people involved, especially in a place like Nigeria, where they just say, don't worry, you find another person. With our emotional intelligence is generally very poor.
Daddy Freeze.
How you doing, bro? For the first time in a long time, I have guys today. So go ahead. What is your take?
I'm happy I'm good to come here today. But I remember I talked to you some days ago. You and Simply Big. I told you about the situation that was happening to me. Can you remember?
Oh yes. I remember.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to you. We'll talk about that. That's on a different level.
Oh yeah. So I remember now.
This one that we're talking about actually happened to me. Personal experience.
Oh
this
wow.
is back in college. University of Benin. I had a girlfriend.
We started dating at 100 level. We started playing house from 100 level, 200 level, 300 level. Final year, we knew that we had this genotype. We're both AS. I was AS. She was AS. But the problem was that I had some feeling that one way or the other, we're gonna go out. We're gonna find a way around this. I knew I wasn't gonna live my life in Nigeria. I knew I was gonna, one way or the other, after school, I was gonna relocate down to the States or something. But I told her, I said, trust me, we're gonna leave. We're not living in Nigeria. We'll live out of the state. We'll be able to do something one way or the other. But the problem was not her. The problem was her family, her mother, her father. It was not just even genotype alone, but we look at genotype as the main thing, but it was still more of a tribalistic stuff. I was Yoruba and she was somewhere in Delta State, somewhere from Edo State, and her parents wanted that same Edo State people, and they don't want their daughter with a Yoruba man, and to crown it all, he's AS and you are AS. You guys can't be together. Daddy freeze. I won't lie to you. Till this date, I've not found a woman as compatible as being with that lady.
Oh wow.
Even the wife that I married, that's based on that whole stress, is not even compatible. I've dated and dated. When I mean a ride or die, she's been my only ride or die. I've not had no other woman that has been my ride or die, but we had to separate in 90 years because she was AS and I was AS.
Wow. Wow.
I cried my life out. I cried, I drank myself to stupor. There was nothing I didn't do. There was nothing I did not do. There was nothing she did not do because she felt the same way. Because it was not just me. So I just had to come in to say something about it. When you came, I said I have so much, but when you talk about genotype issue, I have that experience too. So I'm still looking for the right woman till this date.
I wish you well, bro. And I really do wish you find her.
Amen.
What a
right now.
what a story. What a story. Wow. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. And someone said in the comment section, what if your wife is listening?
Basically, my wife is, it's a long story too at this point in time too. So my wife might be listening, which I know she's not listening because she doesn't like Daddy Freeze.
Wow.
She's brainwashed. She's a Daddy Gio's daughter.
Oh.
Yes, she's a Daddy Gio spiritual daughter, and we are not having it good. We are not having it good at all. So it's bad. That's the other part of my life that That's why I can boldly come out and say I've not met a ride or die.
But what about that first girl?
Sorry?
What about that first girl? The girl who had the AS with you? Was she a Daddy Gio person too?
Guess what? We're both raised Catholics. We're going to Catholic church together. I was a church worthy. She was in choir. So
wow.
No problem.
So it is this one that is Pentecostal. So here's the irony of life. You find a girl you're compatible with, but your genotype is incompatible. So you leave her and marry someone whom your genotype is compatible with, but you are religiously incompatible. What an irony.
That's exactly what my life is about.
Oh wow.
Exactly what my life is about.
Oh
You
wow.
don't have to be like that.
All right,
I
thank you
never
so
believed.
much, bro.
I've had a life. I've had a life that I never believed that. I used to hear it in or probably watch a Nollywood movie. If I tell you the story of my life from genotype to religious, marrying a woman from a Pentecostal church who is deep into Pentecostal, not just like I go to a Pentecostal, no, she is somebody in the church. She speaks in tongues in the best way you can think about.
That whole
And she
Ros
has
Karabastiri bubu. Hora
yeah,
gaga gaga gaga
yeah,
gaga pra pa pa pa
yeah.
pa 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 pa. Rogodo, rogodo, rogodo. Hatarodo poro 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 poro. Urobo gada is a
So just,
kiriskata.
so
Rakacha pacha
yours is
pacha.
not as good as ours. I said the best way you can think about. If you hear the way it comes out, you'll be like, oh, I hear kata kata for there just now. What did you say?
Now nonsense now. So anything will come your mind, you go mumble am. Poro po 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 po. Raka kaka kaka kaka. Jege ge 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 ge.
Yeah,
Horoko robo bobo. Raka kaka.
it's
Kra pa 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 pa.
I look at it, I look at this thing. I'm not, I looked at it in the beginning. Trust me, I knew that she was Pentecostal. But I, because the way I grew up, I thought that, I mean, you can go to your church, I'll go to my church, it's not a problem. But my problem was that I did not know that the spiritual father, that the GO, had that so much grip. I didn't know that there was that much grip
You know, you have to
like
come and
that.
share your story one day. We need to talk about
Yeah, yeah, we'll do that. We'll
religious
do that.
incompatibility among Christians. We need
Yeah.
to share that. But in the meantime, I have this lady here. Oh, Nigeria has happened.
Oh, never. Yay.
Yeah. Don't worry, my estate will bring
But
lights now.
the face has less than 1 minute startup, Jen. So give it a couple of
Yeah, give it a couple of seconds. It'll come up now. In the meantime, this other lady.
Yay.
Hello, my darling lady. How are you doing?
Hello, Daddy. How you doing?
Very well, thank you. So tell me,
Um,
share your story with me.
come on. Sorry, say that again.
Share your story with us, your genotype story.
So like growing back when we were very little, we've had like it was like a scare, and everybody has to be well aware of like I remember my parents had to take us in to do the genotype test, and they were going on about A B B B S S. Is that what we're talking
Yes,
about? Yeah.
AASS,
And then
AS.
and then if like our neighbors or friends, like you said, people who go to church, and if they happen to be with the sickle cell, it becomes like wow. They start giving them that look. It's almost like it's a death sentence, you see. And it's we had this lady, very dedicated, goes to the church all the time, everything. And she goes, why me? Why me? Dad tried to be there. I remember they had to go and do my blood test because I was always constantly sick when I was quite young, and they had to do my test, and mine came out here, and I'm like, why am I sick then? You see. But then this lady with the son, that's it's so growing up, coming over here, I'm thinking it's a stigma. You see, it's a stigma. Instead of us to put that stigma around it, it's best for us to come together, like you always say that you phrase in many of your platform, many of your comments. Let's do something about it. You see, let's come together and do something about it. And this woman, then even though the kid lived up to like 20 something, we were around the same age, and I remember calling back and I'm like, hey, where's that little boy? I know he's all grown up with the same age. And they said, oh, yeah, he passed, not quite long. Anyway, and that broke my heart. Like, is there nothing that was being done, research? And I remember them saying, well, the research is he's got sickle cell. He's going to die anyway. Now, fast forwarding back here in England, if you see all the research and all the awareness being brought to this, you see that people are living. I know a lady who is in her 50s now, which I'm like, man, you've really gone past that threshold of that stigmatization, that stigma we have in Nigeria that says, oh, they die young, they die early, you know. So I don't know, and all these things like the brother next, hello sir, like you were saying, when you link this as well with and yes, it's got something to do with anemia. Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, because you start losing all those you start having those dizzy spell, the blackouts. You know, you start feeling, you know, because I know this kid who was having anemia. Well, we didn't know until one day the kid just got up and fainted. Immediately in my mind, I'm like, oh no, immediately sickle cell. And I'm like, let's quickly go for, you know, went to the GP. GP, can we do a sickle cell? GP is like, you don't tell me what test to ask you to go and do. I was like, check, can you check? Is it sickle cell? The GP said, no, your kid has got, kid has got anemia, and that was it. But, these are all part of it, you see. And when it comes to marriage, you see, that stigma, and no matter what, when we were growing up, and you're married to somebody who's SS, you don't, you don't really want to go into that marriage. You just call it off. We've got brothers and sisters who had to do that, and even though, the brother next year was saying, he said, even though that was the love of my life, nobody else could replace that love. It just, that was it, because of the SS and
the mentality.
Sorry, sir?
I said the mentality.
Exactly. So
I have a colleague. We were in secondary school together. I'm 46 years old. He's still alive, and he had sickle cell, so he's 46. Worst case scenario, he'll either be 45 or 47 because we're about the same age. So anyway, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, my dear brother.
I'm very honored. Thank you very much.
We're going to talk about this sometime soon. But just to share our thoughts, the world needs to be a better place, and Africa, especially Nigeria, needs to be so much more sympathetic. Thank you, guys. Take care, and God bless. If you have a story you want to share on Daddy Freeze's platform, please do send me a DM. Let's see if it's something we can share. If don't try to manipulate me. If you want to interview, I will bill you. Take care, and God bless.
Bye. You're right. Cheers.